April 8th council meeting order. Thank you for all the folks that stopped out tonight. We're sorry for the reason, probably for some of you, but we are glad that you were here. So I see a lot of new faces, so again, let me click to the right page. So at public, I guess I'm a little ahead of myself. I called the order. I suppose we should, one thing at a time, forgive me. If we can all rise for a moment. Okay. That's the. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
with us digitally.
Yep.
She could take the roll.
Yes. Broad.
Here,
Colazzo.
she's absent.
Thank you. DeBowser.
Here.
Frick.
Here.
Lancaster.
Here.
Newell.
Here.
Sarniso.
Here.
Smith.
Present.
7 present, 1 absent.
Thank you.
You're-
In addition, excuse me, my gosh. Additions or changes to the agenda. And right after public comment, there's gonna be, the borough manager gonna be. Just a statement. I don't know if that needs to be a official change or not, but that's gonna happen. Are there any other changes, any need for an executive session? Does anyone know?
I think so.
Okay, in which case, any other changes? Okay, in which we move on to our approval of the minutes and reports. So the March 4th council minutes is up first. Do we have a motion to approve the March 4th council minutes?
Motion to approve.
Casey motioned, Peter seconded. We have any discussion on those council minutes?
2 errors in it.
Okay,
It's missing 2 in attendance, myself and Donald Lancaster. And then under the action item, new business, after section A, there's a paragraph that doesn't belong there.
okay. Okay, Eden, did you have, or did, I don't know if Lori can hear, Lori, were you able to hear that specifically? Lori?
No, she's,
I was able to hear that.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
Then is there any other discussion? We always forget, we need to amend the motion.
Change the motion to approve as corrected.
So are we? Do we need to don't need to re-motion it, we just change it. Okay. All right, yes. Is there any further discussion on the minute? No, okay, in which case, all in favor of the minutes as corrected, approving the minutes as corrected, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, now we are on the February 2025 financials. Moving to approve those, we have a motion to approve that. I will. Peter moves, Betsy seconds. Okay, is there any discussion on this? Nicole, you had been educating us as we go. Do you have any facts specifically about this one, or?
No, I think it happened.
Okay, talk about it in the upcoming meetings. All right. In which case then, any further discussion on the financials? Okay, all in favor of approving the financials from February? Pause. Is this the wrong one? This is March 2025 one. Okay. Sorry, on the top, am I looking at the wrong thing?
Yeah, that's what they, we have.
Yeah, but am I looking at the wrong thing? It says March 2025 on the top. But that just might be a typo.
The March of 2025.
The agendas are
The
correct.
agenda says February.
Okay. Don't make it in time. Okay.
The agenda should be.
Okay. Any further discussion on the March 2025 financial? All right, all in favor of approving the March 2025 financial signature, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. All right. Okay, sorry, now to what I was trying to say earlier. Thank you all for coming. A lot of new faces. We have page and change of folks that would like to make public comment. So for folks that haven't been here for public comment, what you either can stand up if you want to project, if you're in the back and it's hard to get to the front, but you are welcome to come sit at the table that's empty with one chair. You state your name and municipality for the record. So for example, I'm Luke DeBiser from Indiana Borough, in which case then, when you start, whatever public comment you'd like to speak of. Excuse me, I said I left one thing out. We're asking for folks that want to specifically speak about the Philadelphia Street intersection. We're allowing them to go first as there's many here. And so we'll have another public comment later to speak about other topics other than that. Forgive me, I forgot that fact. So, so everyone who would like to go, and the list is not short, but it's not really long, so everyone's gonna get a chance to talk, so we're just gonna go in order down the list. And then as people are talking, we have a timer, we limit everyone to 3 minutes. As we do have to get to other business as well, unfortunately, we do have a time limit on our meeting. And so, excuse me, am I leaving anything out? Okay. Okay, in which case, like I stated, we're just gonna go from the top of the list to the bottom of the list. If there's any, I don't think any stragglers came in, but if people did not sign up for public comment, would like to, just let us, if they came in a little late, let us know. But the first person, forgive me, first person up is Ann Simmons.
May I stand?
Whatever you're comfortable with, we ask that you stay in that general vicinity though.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure I'm facing you. Good evening.
Ann, I'm sorry, could you please take a seat? That's our policy if you're up
Okay,
front.
thank you.
Oh, sorry, because we will have people to stand in the crowd.
In the crowd, yeah, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ann Simmons. I live in White Township. My understanding is that the Indiana Borough does not own many of the roads in Indiana Borough. The roads are owned and managed by PennDOT. Specifically, Philadelphia Street, 9th Street, 7th Street South, 6th Street, and 4th Street are all state roads. And the Indiana Borough Council has no ownership of these roads. These roads are owned and managed by PennDOT. To conclude, my understanding is that our Borough Council has just as much influence with PennDOT as you and I. My hope is that following this meeting, we can all work together to improve pedestrian safety. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Okay, next is Thompson.
I'm Thomas Simmons from White Township. And on January 18th, while crossing Philadelphia Street in the crosswalk, I was squarely struck by a car making a left turn from South 6th Street onto Philly. I'm now recovering from a broken leg, but it could have been a lot worse. And thankful to be alive and here. I'd like to publicly thank Citizens Ambulance, Indiana Borough Police, IMC, and Indiana Total Therapy responders and providers for their excellent care. So what was the underlying cause of me being hit? Synchronous white walk sign and green traffic light. We all know the synchronous walk and traffic lighting at 4th, 6th, 7th, and 9th is hazardous and something needs to be done. Vehicles and pedestrians should not be getting go lights at the same time. So sort of a question, you don't have to answer it, but what can I do? Maybe but I do personally to help rectify these lighting hazards beyond speaking at a borough council meeting or borough council meetings to prevent others from getting hurt or killed. Also, I believe there needs to be more law and police enforcement of cars not yielding to pedestrians at these intersections and the crosswalks between these intersections, especially where there are bright yellow state law yield to pedestrian crosswalk signs, including Oakland Avenue by campus, to change driver behavior. In closing, I would say that Indiana Borough is not pedestrian friendly or not as pedestrian friendly as it should be. So thank you.
Folks, I did forget to mention one thing. Would like to just mention that we do have 2 representatives from PennDOT here. So coming to the meeting and voicing some of your concerns,
Thank you.
literally is going straight to PennDOT. And so then, now they're here to listen, observe, take notes and go back to, right, their people to do what it is they can on their end. So we're not necessarily gonna have a dialogue with them about this, but they are here to listen directly. So I do apologize, I meant to mention that earlier. So by coming, you can literally tell PennDOT. So, thanks. All right, next up, Bob, if you.
Good evening, everyone. Bob Hogan, Rain Township, and no, I'm not here to bust your chops tonight or anything else. I'm actually here to offer a resolve to this problem. As I see it, because our society is so geared now, hurry, 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 from fast food to fast everything, blah, 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 blah. I go back into the 60s when I used to cross the streets at 7th and Philly. There was crossing guards there at times. There was diagonal crossing. There was 4 lanes of traffic. But there was not the genius of anybody being able to walk against a green light. That's where stupidity has come into it. I understand you want to keep the flow of traffic up, but when I say you, I'm not talking to you. I think this goes towards the PennDOT reps here. And with all due respect to the reps that are here, if you want to screw something up, I will get PennDOT involved because that's what goes on. You, as a council, have the authority to enact an ordinance against jaywalking. You have the authority to enforce that. And Saturday, when I was led up here to the circus downtown, I found myself filming something that had nothing to do with the circus content itself, but it was jaywalkers. One of which was the loudmouth that was here the last time. You know who I'm talking about. The guy that cussed out the police and so on and so forth. Crossing against lights. To the point, I actually called 911 because God forbid would have another fatality. But you very easily could have. And I'm not talking 1 or 2 or 3 people. There was dozens of them up there. And I believe they were up there without a permit. Blah, blah, blah. Again, that's another subject. But they sent an ambulance and they sent police up there. Which I appreciate because somebody was going to get hit. Enact yourself an ordinance against jaywalking. And one of the biggest crimes is in front of the courthouse here, and it's by some of the suits and ties of the law authority here. And I'm not talking the police, I'm talking the attorneys that will dart in and out of cars. And no matter what happened at night in Philly, a couple people lost their lives, families were destroyed. I feel bad for the guy driving the vehicle. I don't know what circumstances And I don't even want to comment on it other than I'm not putting blame on there. Except things happen, like Mr. Simmons here said. You're crossing a street where you should be safe, but there's a freaking green light. I mean, have we become this involved with speed that we have to risk people's lives? Put a pedestrian or put a crossing guard out there and enact the law.
Thank you for your time, sir. Apologize, I may get this last name wrong. Donna Seister? Did I say that right? Hopefully close at least.
Pardon me,
I'm not sure I said the last name right. I apologize.
Donna Spicer.
Not it.
Yes, I came as far as the pedestrian. Unfortunately, anyway, my husband was close to the woman that was charged, in the accident on Philly and 9th Street there. Since then, as far as like you said, there's something needs to be done. You should not be able to. I came uptown last Saturday to go out to the skating rink and almost witnessed the same thing happening. And it was two young people walking, they were crossing and they had the green light. There was two vehicles in front of me. There was a white van and a red vehicle in front of me and I was coming up to go towards the library. And he had the green light also, and just as you said, you're not here to put blame or anything, but something needs to be done to where you shouldn't be able to go green because those kids, they looked up seeing green and they just started walking. You shouldn't have green and a green light for the traffic at the same time. That's always been a very difficult intersection. Another instance, whether it's PennDOT or not, as I was leaving the funeral home that Saturday, I went to come out of Bowser's, head up towards Martin's at the red light there at Sheets. The two lights on the side are red and I have a caution that I could go ahead and go. Well, what, I'm crossing traffic? Like, is there an issue with, something just needs done and PennDOT needs to check into that situation because like they said, you should not be able to walk on a green and still drive on the green. I get, like you said, the driver of the vehicle, and if you're making we're generally responsible for. But just as he said, many times I've seen people walk out. They won't take the extra time to walk down to the crosswalk. Putting more people out in the community to put that presence down that you're not going to stand for people walking out in between cars, if you're doing the speed limit and somebody walks out in front of you and you hit them, you're ultimately probably going to get pinned with it, and then as he said, there's lives that are affected, families destroyed, it's just the borough needs, and I also want to tell you, and I appreciate all you guys taking your time to be on the committees, because it's time consuming. A lot of it's unpaid hours and everything, so it's not that it's any one, so I do appreciate you just taking and being on the borough council and stuff. But at the same time, make it known that, okay, we're not gonna stand for that any longer. This gentleman here had his foot hit, in a car accident. 2 people lost their lives. What's it gonna take to stop it or change it or even the jaywalking, put that presence down? And I'm from Young Township.
Thank you for your time. All right, Brandy. Shepherd.
Haley, it's okay. I didn't realize that was to publicly speak, so you can go on to the next person.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
Okay.
about that, everybody.
All right, Austin Thompson.
Hello, I'm Austin Thompson. I live on Philadelphia Street. So I'm living in Indiana Borough. I also have my bachelor's in urban planning. So I've studied some stuff like this for a while. So some things I just want to throw out there, like some ways to fix this, and maybe curb extensions, flashing crosswalk signs, maybe even creative crosswalks, allow some like art installations to be into the town. All those like show that they do provide safer pedestrian traffic. I also want to say that I bike and walk every day, about a 15-minute walk for me to work and like 5-7-minute bike ride. I've been hit on Philly Street while walking and biking. I don't believe that they are safe for either. something like this does change a community, and I think everyone would like to see a positive change. And a walking, pedestrian community also has like kids and people playing outside, so we'd all be able to go outside a little bit more. And that's about it. I just hate public speaking.
It's fine. Thank you for your comments. Okay, next up, Zachary Webster.
Good evening. My name is Zachary Webster. I live in Indiana Borough, and I live with the previous speaker, Austin Thompson. I often drive him to work specifically because it is safer to get him to and from work in my car. I work on one of the many businesses along Oakland Avenue, and many of my shoppers, many of my coworkers bike and walk to the shop in order to get the essential things that they need. Another thing that they also use is the bus services in town. Improving the safety and convenience of these services, busing and biking, gets more people choosing to use those services, less people in their vehicles, which creates less traffic. Me choosing to take him to work creates more traffic and, as a direct result, creates a more dangerous road environment. The more people we can coax out of their cars and onto their bikes, into the buses, onto the sidewalks, reduces the number of cars able to even hit it. And that is, I got that out as briefly as I could, and that's more brief than the time of it. Oh my goodness.
Thank you for being here. Okay, Ray, forgive me, Shamus?
You got it right.
I'm allowed to take it.
Hi, my name is Ray Shamus. I'm from White Township. My wife also has a business on South 7th Street. I'm representing the family of John and Loretta Rieger. As everybody has already reiterated, anyhow, the solution that I would like to see, as everybody said, is if the lights that are on for crossing are white, the police have all the traffic lights red. I mean, I would much rather spend 20 seconds in the borough waiting on a red light than happen to see 6 sisters and 3 children have to attend a funeral home. So that's all I just have to say about it. And
Thank you for being here. Okay, Byron, you're up next, sir.
Good evening, Count. I'll just stay back here. My name is Byron Stauffer. I'm the Executive Director of the Indiana County Office of Planning and Development. So I'm here in my professional capacity, but I'm also a borough resident. My condolences to the Rieger family and the extended family here this evening. And Mr. Simmons, glad you're healing up for sure. But you know, I have the opportunity to work obviously with council on various infrastructure projects. My office, you know, administers funding and different projects on your behalf and behalf of other municipalities around the county. So I guess I'm here, you know, this evening to offer assistance where the county planning staff can help. We do engage each cycle for transportation planning through the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission, SPC, as well as District 10, and you know, work, you know, to ensure not only safe roads and bridges, but pedestrian safety is something that is a consideration. Obviously, you know, a lot of this befalls on the municipalities, but I simply want to offer, you know, we're willing to, you know, work with the borough council and PennDOT, whatever meetings that transpire, to find resolutions. I think the speakers before me, did a really good job of identifying some of the issues that are here in town. And so just please do not hesitate to reach out and hopefully we can work, the county can work with the borough and PennDOT to find the necessary solutions here in town. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Richard Sambo? Oh, you'll keep close.
Richard Sambothy. I now live in White Township, but for 28 years I lived in Indiana Borough. And that's with a 17-year break in between. But where we live now, we drive through the 9th Street intersection quite often. It's either 9th Street or 6th Street. When they're working on 6th Street, maybe they aren't working on 9th Street. Some stories, the latest thing to happen was we were on North 9th Street at near the library. And there was a car waiting on South 9th Street to turn right while pedestrians were crossing. Well, the vehicle behind that car didn't want to wait for the pedestrian to cross, so decided to pull out to go around them. Of course, that's where we're going to go. So we have those sorts of things too. Most of what's been talked about tonight, rightly so, is about the pedestrians and the crossing, but there's also a problem for the drivers as well. And besides the sunlight and other distractions that can cause accidents. The biggest problem that I have watched is cars turning left, either South 9th or North 9th Street. That they're going to turn left. But are they going to yield the right of way, or are they going to assume that you're going to give them the right of way because they're turning left and they get them out of there? Sometimes the car will pull in the intersection to turn left, which is illegal. You can't sit in the intersection. Police cars have done that. But anyway, let's see. What happens sometimes is they signal that they're turning left, but they're really going to go straight because their GPS says turn left and then turn right. So you're not really sure which way they're going to go. And because of that, that leads to congestion. Traffic will back up at certain times of the day, all the way back to the import auto place or down to School Street. And it's because someone wants to turn left and they can't do it. So it's like 2 cycles before that. So as far as the solution, just as far as the drivers, why not have North 9th Street and South 9th Street not be green at the same time? North 9th Street green, they'll do the test, but probably 15 seconds or so, exclusively for North 9th Street. Then they're done, and now South 9th Street can go and not have to worry about cars coming in the other direction and not knowing what they're doing. That might work. Something. And to finish up, right after we went from the dedicated crosswalks and the diagonal crosswalks in 7th Street, the first day that it was shared crossing, I crossed, a car crossed quickly in front of me in the crosswalk, but the next car saw me standing in the middle of the street. And you say about someone's eyes being as big as saucers, his eyes were as big as saucers when he saw me standing in the intersection.
Thank you, sir.
Well,
okay, that is all that is on the list. Thanks to all for your public comment. At this time, which time we're gonna be moving on to, and real quick, just for the folks who maybe never been here. So after public comment, we don't necessarily. Do
we have a speak? I'm being told we have a speaker that may be online.
We don't have public comment for virtual participants.
No, I mean, we haven't done it in a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we won't necessarily specifically reply to any one thing, just not ignoring you. That's just the procedure isn't necessarily to pick and choose questions to answer or respond to. But I just want you guys to understand that we aren't ignoring, we hear what you're saying. We're taking notes or writing things down. The PennDOT officials are over here taking notes so that there will be a level of response on some level from someone. I know this is a terrible answer, but we just won't be specifically responding right now is what I'm trying to say. And so, thank you guys for being here. We hope you stay.
I do like to read.
Yes, sorry. And Nicole is gonna be, our borough manager is gonna be reading, it, so don't leave.
I do have a statement prepared on behalf of Indiana Borough. Indiana Borough Council, Mayor Simmons, staff and police officers stand with our community in sadness over the tragedy at night in Philadelphia Street. Community safety is a focus for us all. We all recognize one crash, one injury, and one loss of life is too many. At every level, we are committed to working with our community leaders, partners, and neighbors to create and maintain a safe and thriving community. We join with everyone in the call for ongoing resources, the best approaches to achieve zero crashes and maximize traffic and pedestrian safety. We welcome every thoughts and ideas that is safety oriented and thank our community for its demonstration, care, and concern for each other. As Philadelphia Street is a state highway and our downtown business district, we have a history of working with our partners at PennDOT, AAA, Indiana County Office of Planning and Development, IUP Institute for Rural and Health and Safety, local community groups, and others to sustain a safety environment for everyone. Our commitment to our community safety will never stop. We are actively working with our partners at PennDOT to identify available long-term safety enhancements to our 9th and Philadelphia Street intersection. While the police department is increasing traffic monitoring and enforcement, we are all focused on doing more outreach and education on traffic and pedestrian safety, while also making sure our roads and sidewalks remain improved. We will continue talking about intersection designs, engineering possibilities with PennDOT, our community leaders, and each other. Our approach is multi-tiered to assure the best available outcomes today and into the future. Through the years, many changes have been made to our Philadelphia Street corridor, and more will always be necessary to maximize the safety goals. We will always be working with everyone to achieve the highest level of safety success. Again, we stand with our community in sadness over the tragic losses of life on 9th and Philadelphia Street, and join everyone in calls for ongoing resources and best approaches to achieve zero crashes. We are thankful for everyone who has demonstrated vocal care and concerns for each other. We are always safe working together. Sincerely, the borough.
And with that, we move to some other additional business, for the committee reports. The administrative committee. Dealing with the things we usually do, but we've come up with a whole long list.
Peter, I just apologize for interrupting. Luke, I think our PennDOT reps are gonna leave and we'll be back in touch with them.
Thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate it. We know that you're gonna take back what folks have said and look at it and see what we can do. So we'll talk to you again soon.
Can I say one final thing about public safety and bike pen before everyone leaves? Okay.
You said there's gonna be some folks there. Somebody would be there next week.
If you would like us here, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Somebody, people said yes. Yeah, that would be. And you were trying to say something?
Go ahead.
Before, I know that a lot of you left already, but to continue the conversation, we do have committees that are specifically dedicated to this. So we do have public safety, which meets next week. But typically the second Tuesday. Our calendar's online. Yeah, the Tuesday is after council. So things like this would be an agenda item on there and you would likely hear more discussion. We also have a bike pedestrian committee that meets the last Wednesday of every month. That meeting is virtual. You can participate. You can be a member. We're always looking for members and you can learn more about things like our sidewalks and pedestrian safety, bikeability, that always happens there. So those are ongoing ways too that we are addressing these items too, and you're more than welcome to participate there.
In case they forget one of those dates, they're on.
Yeah, full calendar's on there. There's a live calendar, there's a PDF calendar, all of the dates are on there. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you, real quick.
Those of you that came tonight, Miss Curry, who tried to organize some people to be here. She told me, asked me to inform you she was ill and wasn't able to be here, but she appreciates you being. Who's watching? She was watching, she's here. But she asked me to convey that message.
Thank you, folks. Okay, so, Peter, if you would please.
All right, the administration committee had on action items, all of which were approved. at
On
the
this side.
committee meeting, So none of them needs a second. The first one is the retirement option for the police pension plan. There's a drop item. I don't remember what they there for. It says, we've got the whole text in the packet. This is something that's being offered to the police department, and the motion is to adopt the drop for participants in the police pension plan.
It came from
The
committee, so no second.
committee is passed there, so it doesn't.
I'm not positive. I don't think this is bulk spending money, right? Because this is all a pension thing.
Yes.
Okay, in which case then, all in favor, well, is there any further discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of approving the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carried.
All right, we also have a motion for the management pension plan to adopt the management pension plan to offer a one-time benefit to active employees with 25 or more years of service as of September 30th, 2024. And again, that text is in the packet.
And also came from committee, so we do not need a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Okay, again, this is just an amendment of, so we're not spending any money specifically, I don't believe. In which case then, and all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
All right, and the next, again, is a motion now, no more pension, to adopt the amendment to chapter 133 amusement and gaming devices to align with the 2025 fee schedule. Say this, the fee schedule, when we passed the fee schedule, we passed the new fees, but the ordinance didn't call for that, so now we've got to amend the ordinance so that it lines up. This again comes out of the committee.
Yeah, right, so no second necessary, and we would have already advertised, which is the spending of money, so in which case, no. Further money being spent, correct, right? Okay, in which case, any further discussion on?
I would say it's an ordinance though, so you probably should.
Okay.
Sorry, Lori.
That's okay.
All right, in which case, whenever you're ready.
Broad,
Yes.
Colazo, DeBowser,
Yes.
Frick,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Newell,
No.
Sarniso,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
6 yes, 1 absent, 1 no.
Carries.
Okay, and now the next one. The committee moves to approve the library lease. For another 10 years, as approved by the administrative committee.
All right, out of committee, no second required. Any further discussion? Jessica, I think you missed that meeting. So it's just, the lease is up literally, so we're just gonna redo the lease structure. Well, I think I had asked that question, and then Nicole, you had given a whole bunch of information. I forget how far. Yes.
Is that gonna be an ongoing thing we keep getting?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, and we can get it once a year.
Can we put that in the
Rent some of the building.
It's in, oh gosh, I apologize, I forget where it is. It's in something.
It's in-
It's in the ad.
Okay,
Yeah.
No, I mean, the verbiage that they have to give it to us on it is in writing, a place I cannot currently reach. But I do remember bringing it up specifically to Nicole at times past. And then she immediately produced it, so they must have given it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to remember where it is physically, but yeah.
And we do have to point to the library too, but it is different kind of service.
It is in writing wherever it says we get to do that, because they're.
Yeah.
So- Yeah.
okay, got it. That's kind of question.
All right. Yes, okay, so. Collecting money and technically. Yeah, so any further discussion on the motion? Okay, in which case, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And we have one more. Back to pensions.
Important.
Because our pension legal person retired, we need a new one, and the committee would like to approve Knox McLaughlin as a new pension legal firm. That's our motion.
And that also came out of committee, so a second. Yeah, because we're appointing him, we're hiring someone, yes. In which case, Lori, please, well, any further discussion of the motion? All right, in which case, Lori, whenever you're ready to do a roll call, please.
Yes, Broad,
Yes.
Palazzo, DeBowser,
Yes.
Frick,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Newell,
Yes.
Cerniso,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent.
Motion carried.
Beyond that, the administration committee meeting was largely taken up with parking issues. It's spelled out in great detail in the packet. Number of things, meters, repairs to the parking garage, and so forth. That were. Okay.
All right, any questions for the admin committee? All right, moving on to community development. So the Zoop had a draft ordinance. We haven't gotten anything else since then. It's probably gonna come to committee, but they went through the review process. The comp plan implementation, so the staff, and Jeff, the consultant, has been working, and Eden. I suppose I should say Trajan since I said Eden. Anyway, has been working through going to community partners and briefing them on the comp plan and how it pertains to that specific community partner. For example, I was at one at IEP where we met with Dr. Driscoll, and we kind of brought the comp plan to him and IEP as an entity and talked about how that relationship going forward would look specific to them. And I know that Paige is not here, but Eden, I think you've been to several of them with other community partners, right, doing the same thing, seeing how it would how implementation and what the relationship could look like with that individual partner. Excuse me. And so that's been going on. How many would you say you've met with?
I believe that we've had 4 so far, and our next one is tomorrow with the County Planning Commission.
Okay, so it's helping to lay out specifically how our paths may touch those specific community partners. So that's pretty cool. That's so professional, so cool. But I do think it's cool. Trying to maintain and continue that relationship with those community partners. I know IEP received it well, and gave us the contact information to work directly with. So we don't have to necessarily do the long way around every single time. And so, positive, big fan of you. Okay, in which case then, I don't have much else specifically from community development. Excuse me. Call to Mike, who got his inspector's license, go Mike, in our code department, so that's nice to have, more folks that can help folks in the community, move on with their projects, it's good. And it stayed on here, that we're gonna hook up with PennDOT to talk, and that's in progress already, so I don't have anything else really from community development. Any questions for community development? Alrighty then. In which case then, I don't think I remember by that, thank you, public safety. Gotta scroll up 47 pages. Public safety?
Yeah, don't really have anything to say. I mean, we had public safety meetings the day after the accident happened, pedestrians were killed. So that was a big discussion point. But the chief said he'd like to make a comment. So I'll turn it over to Chief Shaw.
Thank you. I also wanted to address the crash at 9th Philadelphia Street from the perspective of the police department. And your police department certainly stands with everyone in sadness over the loss of life at 9th and Philadelphia Street. Our mission is to enhance the quality of life of everyone we serve. So one crash event and every loss of life is unacceptable to us. We're at our best when we can be proactive to prevent crashes and crime, but we're also committed to conducting thorough and professional investigations in the pursuit of justice when neither can be avoided. We recognize the support to enhance intersection safety from our community, and we sincerely appreciate the focus of Council and Mayor Simmons for a complete public safety approach for Indiana Borough. In the past 20 years, Philadelphia Street and our surrounding roads have undergone significant change, as was addressed by Manager Cepas. And with that change, we're always working to understand the challenges that remain and the new challenges that are created. Examples of this are Philadelphia Street's road diet, the curb line bulb outs, our new traffic signals and crosswalk timing, the traffic signal removal at 11th Street, and the creation of IRMC Park and alike. Philadelphia Street's our downtown business district, and as such, we're always going to be working with our partners at PennDOT to deliver the safest possible environment for everyone in Indiana Borough. Your officers have increased traffic monitoring and enforcement throughout town. We have and will continue to be active on our social media and with our media partners to provide safety reminders and education rules of the road. Along with borough staff, we're committed to being engaged in traffic studies to determine the best possible traffic calming possibilities. Simultaneously, we're going to focus on education, enforcement, and engineering because those three components together are the best practice in crash prevention and roadway safety. We've been recognized many years in a row as being a regional leader in traffic safety, but that wasn't enough to avoid this tragedy, and our work's always going to be ongoing to try and sustain zero crashes. As an update to the crash investigation, although we don't comment on specific details of the ongoing investigation, I can continue to report that the significance of this crash requires us to be sensitive, thorough, and intentional with the investigative process. We were assisted by multiple first responding officers and partners at the crash scene, and we continue to be assisted by the Pennsylvania State Police and the Indiana County District Attorney's Office as we walk through this investigation. Our investigation isn't going to be closed until we have all facets of that process complete. We continue asking for community patience, and we continue thanking our partners for their ongoing support. Thank you.
Is there any other, anything else from public safety?
Answer questions.
Or any questions? Okay, seeing none then, Thanks for reading the two. Moving on to Public Works.
As you are all aware, something crosses in 2020. Took a really nice picture of Carpenter Avenue after like, it's like 7 giant potholes. They were there cutting more stuff. That continues on, however, it is up on the website. Even I saw your post, it was great, explaining how you can go and we have access to what People's Natural Gas has been telling us about where the map is and where they're gonna be and what percentage done, and that's all. Thank you, so folks are asking you. It's great that we've been able to communicate a lot better, both staff wise, been able to also communicate with the public too. Sometimes the staff knows or we know, but we cannot communicate it easily and effectively to folks in town. Beyond that, it continues to be repaired. The work at the wastewater treatment plant, I know that we're working on the phase 2 of that, getting the engineering done. There's a Vinegar Hill, is there a Vinegar Hill order or motion? It's on a, I see that's in a new business. Do you want me to talk? There's an action item. Do you want me to do that now or do you?
This one's from McGregor Park. So it's up to you if you want to do it.
I'm already talking. All right. So we have one motion. This is out of, this one you need seconded. It's, we discussed it that we would be interested in putting forward for this grant, but. So the suggested motion is to move to adopt the resolution 2025-R5 to the DCNR C2P2 grant application seeking funds for the McGregor Park expansion and rehabilitation project. Second.
Okay.
C2.
So we have Lori, I don't know if you heard, but Betsy had seconded the motion.
Thank you.
In which case, then, do we have any further discussion on this? We spending money for this?
We,
Roll call, as we said?
yeah, we would be spending money if granted.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
This was the one that needed matching and all that stuff, so, okay.
Yeah,
Which
this,
case-
this is a 50% match. We have $44,912 already. We're requesting just over 179,000.
And this is to work with McGregor Park, move the playground across the creek to the side.
It's more than that though, right, with the full amount?
It
Yeah,
is,
I mean,
it's,
that's-
yeah.
That's. Yeah.
In which case, any further discussion? Lori, whenever you're ready, roll call vote, please.
Yes, Broad,
Yes.
Colazzo, DeBowser,
Yes.
Frick,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Newell,
Yes.
Cerniso,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent.
Motion carries. Thank you, Lori.
You're welcome.
Besides that, there's nothing too much else going in public works. I did get communicated with me about getting soccer started back over there again, so I know that I connected with Brian, so that's happening. And it's nice to see the park being used again. For public works.
I'm missing for lots of minutes.
Your name isn't on there?
Yeah, my name's not there.
So many minutes.
There's a lot of things that happen and a lot of
There's a
tests
lot of-
that need to be done and reported on.
So lucky.
I would
Plan that we don't take there. Restroom or
It is.
Yeah.
It is, but it's a great thing.
Well, it gets so much vandalism that it was to the point where like we couldn't even open it for a day.
safe even.
It was just basically a place for kids to do things they probably shouldn't be doing.
Probably.
So that would be a part of the plan.
I don't know if that'd be
It's,
purpose or.
yeah, it's
but-
not part of this plan. Everything that would be currently on that side of the eroding stream bank will need further funding, mostly taking care of the stream bank there, and then we have begun talks on what we would do with that building. If we want to add public restrooms, it sounds like we would need to do something similar to what you would see akin to like a national park or something, basically a hole in the ground with no sinks or mirrors or things that can be ripped off the walls, which was the problem before. So not specifically addressed in this grant, but something that we could look for future funding.
Would the exterior of it be cleaned up in this grant, or at least the whole area looks like we did just like forget this big eyesore?
I'm not entirely sure what that's not explicitly in the grant. I mean, we're rebuilding a new patio or pavilion and whatnot on the other side. But I don't know what the exact plan is for that building.
Might just be paint.
Our parks.
Yeah, there's storage right now.
Needs to make it not scary. And we're doing everything else and making it good. If get to that, maybe they're not good with that. Just.
Okay.
Yeah, code.
Probably have to budget that annually. Yes.
Are you talking about get the arts paint? Turn into a 4,000 euro.
Here we go. Volunteer.
Okay,
I don't have anything else unless somebody has a question for public works. I think everybody was pretty much there.
except John.
Okay. Except you were.
Totally there.
The time before.
All right, in which case, forgive me that somebody paid you. Okay. Peter, on the planning commission, please.
Well, there's a fairly extensive set of minutes there that I'm not going to read. But in addition, the Historic Architecture Review Board planning for ongoing, the consultants have been in town working. Perhaps they're talking about perhaps enlarging the district. There's going to be a public meeting, but we don't have a date for it yet. At least I don't know one. It would be good, according to the consultants, it would be good to adopt the whole shebang by the end of the year. There was also under new business, a call for more active traffic enforcement. Surprise, surprise. We did have a report on the Carriage Essex House redevelopment project, which is Byron Meadows.
You want me to say something?
I don't think we need to. So everybody knows that it's going on.
The Carriage Essex House project.
Yeah, we will be coming before, the committees, in terms of demolition, seeking a permit for demolition and, other development thoughts that we may have, so. We get some funding to demolition, and, so we're getting ready on some permit requests.
Nice, very good. Thank you, sir. Any other questions for planning commission? Okay, we had the shade tree, but there was two. I guess you can start with, well, yeah, there was two different shade tree meetings that's happened since. So I was at one of them, and so. A lot of talk about. Maybe be the new borough arborist, in which case then that was why the next meeting happened, in which the committee, the shade tree commission settled on a person they're recommending, which we'll get to in just a moment. So a lot of different, tree things happening. One thing I did mention to the shade tree commission while I was there was that we're seeking their input on making sure that the shade tree ordinances, what the making sure the ordinance is worded the way we would like it to be worded. With the new arborists coming in, this is the time to make sure that the duties and responsibilities of that arborist are as we would like it to be, right? And so I had asked Shade Tree to provide some feedback on that. It may never, it might wow, it may not change at all, but just taking the time to go through and confirm it and looking at different things, making sure we're using the lenses about trees that we want to be using, that sort of thing. So, excuse me. I did pass the request to them. Their next meeting was literally 2 days or 3 days later, so they didn't, I don't think they talked about that at all. So that would be maybe for their next meeting. So moving to the action item of this Shade Tree, which came out of the next meeting. Did you go to the second meeting, Nicole?
It was, but you might want to mention at their first meeting, they talked about Arbor Day, which.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So many. There it is. Yeah, Arbor Day ceremony held Friday, April 25th at noon in the 1300 block of Philadelphia Street.
And Bob's sticking with that, right? The 1300.
Sticking with that.
Okay, because there was a couple of
Tree.
emails, yeah.
Once we have a tree.
The trees are ordered and they're in, they actually called, they're ready, yeah.
Well, there you go.
And
Go
oh,
ahead.
it sounds like that's 1390 Philadelphia Street. That's where it will be planted. They will be planting 9 trees that day. If people want to be
Right,
involved with
one,
Arbor Day.
two,
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, trying to get the plantings going. All right, in which case then, okay. There is an action item, there's 2 action items actually. Which, the first one is to, move to approve the Shade Trees recommendation of Frank Tamarki, they say that right? Tamarki for the vacant Shade Tree Commission member alternate. So when there's an alternate position that's empty, this person would be filling that vacancy. And so, we don't usually get a lot of action items out of committee or out of commissions, excuse me. So I assume we need a second.
No, they all second, this went through the.
Yeah.
Which Shade Tree Committee.
Right, is that treated the same as committee?
Um,
I think it's one of your borough committees.
No, it's a commission.
You need a motion in a second.
All right, so I move to approve. Do we have a second? All right. In which case I think Casey has to do the. Don't you have to do the action?
Yeah. So I have to,
Well, I read it.
I have to do the vote.
Yes, I think technically, right? Because I made the motion.
All right, will be voice vote, all in favor of approving, the Frank Tremarky to the vacant, seat for the member alternate. Say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
And then the next,
That was a hell of a voice, right?
The next motion would be, Shade Tree has recommended, Todd Holt to fill the, arborist role within the borough. Excuse me, okay, we have a motion, so. we
Second.
have a second, okay, in which case, then, do we have any discussion on this? Yes.
Is his rate, the rate or previous arborist?
Okay, good question. So I apologize, I don't remember the number, but he submitted an hourly rate to the borough. And my understanding is that at the at the meeting that was held on a Friday, and I forget the exact date, the one that was held on a Friday, the rate, and the need of the borough, like it was gone over with him,
The budget.
the budget, et cetera.
This budget needs to stay within that.
Right.
So this hourly rate, was that the same way it was structured? with the arborist?
Yes, it actually was.
At the same rate?
And it's probably not the same
It's not
hourly,
the same hourly.
I mean. Bob Chrisan was with us since the Shade Tree Commission. He was with us for a long time.
Yes, I was looking
And
at
so-
rates for this and it seemed in the right ball. Concerned about our budget.
Yeah, well, they had done a.
No, that's, he's not worth his rate. Yeah.
They had done a request for proposal and a few people applied, and so they had done, similar to how we would have done. For anything to come up with this recommendation. But just to kind of fill you in on the process, since it is a little different getting something from the commission compared to our normal run of the mill.
Shade tree.
So this is budget shade tree, so this one increase our, but it doesn't touch the general. And that's being honest.
Right. And so this was the gentleman that came out from the commission. So did we get a second already? I believe we did. Okay, in which case, any further discussion? Now, it's, as just mentioned, this is the shade tree budget. So are we spending money or is shade tree spending money, or do we just do roll call to be safe?
Do roll call to be
All right, we'll do roll call to be safe. Lori, whenever you're
Yes.
ready.
Broad,
Yes.
Colazo, DeBowser,
Yes.
Frick,
Yes.
Lancaster,
Yes.
Newell,
Yes.
Cerniso,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 absent.
Motion carries, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that is, yes, all of the action items. Was there anything else that came out of that second shade tree, Nicole, that would be?
On that, the minutes are actually in the thing.
Let's do anything else. Check that out. All right, in which case then, on to the manager's report. Nicole, if you would please.
Yeah, last week I met with Dr. Perry's grad class. I did, she invited me as part of a guest speaker to go in and talk to her grad class on municipal capital budgeting and a project. So the big discussion was obviously our, borough building under renovation. So it was a great, experience. The students were really engaged. They had some great questions. Trajan was in the class, so that kind of helped. So I appreciate, Dr. Perry asking me, and that's the same group that I'll be going on that, conference with in May to do a collaboration with them on working with having the IEP students do projects for us. So, same group. I do want to mention, be patient with the garbage process. We're working through it. Eden is doing a fantastic job fielding calls. Our office staff has been fielding multiple calls. They're doing a great job. A lot of questions. Eden is updating the website. If you have not signed up for our newsletter, please do that. A lot of information is on that newsletter. A lot of Q&A questions are on the website regarding the garbage. We're still working on some of the kinks out with waste management. We will continue to do that. We're working with the residents if they have questions or concerns, and we're trying to, be accommodating as much as we can. So if you talk to anybody, if they have any questions or concerns, please have them contact us. Next month this month, for admin, I would like to schedule, our auditor is gonna come in and present the audit report. And that kind of takes up about 45 minutes, so I was thinking we could schedule admin a little earlier, that start maybe at 6:15 or 6:30, if you guys are willing to do admin. And that way we can give the auditor some time, and if you guys have any questions on the audit report.
Which one, this meeting?
This meeting
Yeah.
coming up. Do you want to make, to change the meeting time to what time?
Four of us.
6:30?
Yeah, 6:30.
Yeah, that would at least give her a half hour, 45 minutes before the other committees start. Okay. We'll post it, and we'll post that and say, it's gonna be an open meeting, but, that will give our auditor time to. 6:30 will be fine.
So just for confirmation, that's within the admin meeting or like?
Yes, we'll open admin at 6:30. We'll officially start admin at 6:30. Okay, I said about the website.
You guys, you all did get Trajan's information and indeed and made a comment to the folks that were still here. Again, Bike Ped Committee, we have a lot of committees that people get involved in and if they wish, so make sure you read over that, and if anybody, is coming to you, suggest those type of board meetings where we can actually have some open dialogue and discussions at those type of meetings. Eden's still doing her Friday, coffee with comms and, people are welcome to go and talk with Eden on, Friday mornings. And Trajan, did a good job of, showing on paper that, we're moving forward with a lot of activities and pedestrian safety and again, bike safety, we want this town to stay walkable and, bicycle safe, so. That's some good information, Trajan. So, and that's all I have.
Any questions for the manager? Okay, in which case then, Chief, whenever you're ready.
Sir, thank you. It's good to be back with everyone. Have a very brief report today, but I just wanted to say that the content that we discuss in these meetings is oftentimes significant and filled with important matters, and I just want you to know how honored I am to be able to discuss these things with you and to represent the community through the good and the not so good moments that we experience together. And then I just want to thank, lastly, Mayor Simmons, Manager Cephas, and Lieutenant Slavinsky for leading the police department effort while I had an opportunity to be away. That was a job well done across the board, and I'm just very appreciative. So thank you all.
All right, any questions for the chief?
Glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Chief, I have one brief question. Last year, I believe, we had gotten sort of a summary after action. Is that gonna be in the, of some of the recent like St. Patrick's Day, things like that? Is that gonna be at the public or what? Let me rephrase that. When may we expect that?
It's prepared. It's already been issued to the mayor, and you can expect it on the public safety agenda.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Words are hard today. Okay. Any other questions for public, for the chief, excuse me, not public safety? Okay, moving on then. Mr. Solicitor, sir.
As far as the legal matters of the borough currently, we are working through a few things. You approved the one pension item tonight, which hopefully will resolve another issue that we've been working on. But otherwise, things are moving forward on that front. I would like to commend Chief Shaw for completing the FBI Academy. I don't know if the people in this room realize what an honor and what prestigious company he is in by not only being accepted, but graduating from that program. As somebody that used to be in law enforcement, I know the work and the time and the commitment and sacrifice to do that program, and congratulations. It's a very worthy honor. We're very fortunate to have you leading our police department, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Any questions for the solicitor? All right, in which case then, our AP representative is not here, but I do believe I saw an email packet. It's all blurry. What'd you say?
It's a very low report. Lots of waves.
Yeah, let folks review that. Okay, next up is myself. I don't need to touch base too much on the safety, the council's already expressed, but just for me personally, the tragedy on Philadelphia Street, just awful. So my heart goes out to the families involved and all the folks that responded. I mean, things like that leave a mark on many people. And so, thoughts and prayers for folks. And also want to commend all the police and the law enforcement and public, first responders and everyone involved with all of the St. Patrick's Day events that went on. There were some challenges, but they met those challenges. And so more from Chief on that later, next week rather. And so, I don't have a whole heck of a lot more to say personally speaking. So I just want to thank everybody in the room for way showing up, including council and the staff. So thank you. It's it can be a lot sometimes, but here we are. So with that, I will turn it over to the mayor unless anyone has a question for me.
We leave that to you.
In this case, Mr. Mayor, whenever you're ready, sir.
You know, a few years ago, we expanded Public Safety Committee to have representatives from police, fire, and EMS. And it's been working out very well. Because when the chips are down, are you kidding me? You know,
The chips are down.
in the fire department, when that happens, I get fined $10, so.
I'm collecting. I'll be collect that.
And that's to everybody, so there you go. I'm sorry about that, there you go. But anyway, it has worked out very well, and we're so glad that we continue to communicate because, you know, when there's an accident on Philadelphia Street, it's police, fire, and EMS right now.
Right.
And we all have to know what each other are doing. And so that's what we've trained for years and years, and we'll keep that up. One other thing that I think is important, in the group that I run with, if we were in charge of McGregor Park, we'd put in pickleball. Just a thought.
You're showing your age, Mayor.
And that's okay.
There's a pickleball in every great parade.
My grandson.
Our first. So there's the challenge. The first game will be between Peter and I. Pickleball, I'll tell you, that place is just perfect for that. You could put some big spots in there. So, pickleball.
Hey, we still have green space, so whatever we decide we want to do with that.
Any questions for the mayor?
Thanks. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Old business, do you have, I know you emailed some information.
It's been a while ago, but as far as the EMS authority goes, tomorrow at the commissioners meeting, the official articles of incorporation will be sent to Harrisburg following that vote. There are going to be 9 total districts of voting members representing the municipalities, clusters of municipalities, as was originally designed.
It was 11.
Yes, there were.
Still do a vote?
No,
No offense.
it is now like, the ninth seat is being held by Commissioner Keith. Waiting for White Township to, yes.
In theory, as a
It's a placeholder until, and then there will be positions that will not be voting, but there will be advisory that will be represented by citizens. Service provider is like the citizens, the hospital, IUP, they'll all be allowed to attend, participate, be on committees. So that's great. I think it's really great. It's gonna be really municipal focus. Citizens themselves held a really informative 2 days of seminars. I don't know if any of you got to go. I was there on Wednesday. She was also, Stevens was also there. It was really informative. I did hear that Thursday went better than Wednesday. But it's good. Everybody's talking to each other and things are moving forward. That's what you need to see, right? Because I'm learning it's so complicated, as Mayor Simmons just expressed. It's 3 organizations working together all the time. It's good that this is moving forward.
Very important.
Very important. Yeah, I think there's 3 that are not. Yeah, including yeah. The Conemaugh is the only one in that southern district right
now, and in theory, they would be the ones that are potentially closer to another entity, if I'm not mistaken.
No. Yes. has done this.
They're gone.
They're gone. So they're holding out under an assumption that maybe they can figure out how to do it at the level themselves.
Sure.
And that's
Right.
their prerogative. We're hoping that as we continue on reducing barriers to participation and be more inclusive, that everybody comes to it. Yeah, it's easy. I mean, it's not my work, it's there. It's good. It's good. It's perfect.
Progress and perfection. Okay, any other questions or anything else to add?
It's good.
Okay, in which case, the Indiana Borough Endowment, you have anything new to add to that?
Just a brief update that the application period did open as of April 1st. That window is open until May 30th, so we do have some time to work on that. If this is an opportunity that we want to pursue, it does require a steering committee, a resident to be involved on that committee, a representative from our elected council, and then a representative from the borough staff as well. So there will be some additional action steps. I have the whole application questions up for the narrative that I can send to council if you'd like to take a look. Because there's going to need to be a little bit broader discussion on how we would like to handle that moving forward. So I can share that with all of you. It's something that I have also put on the community development agenda so that we can open that up to community-based organizations and as well as we're deciding upon our steering committee.
So I had a question on this. So you had mentioned potentially what we could have the option to do is have a joint endowment. Some other municipality, for example, White Township. My question, if we went to that, who is the governing body? So for example, if White Township wanted something and we didn't, or the other way around, how do you decide what would happen with something?
Well, I think that's part of having the steering committee. You would have to have representatives from both municipalities that are involved. And then there will be some level of help from the Center for the Alleghenies as well, because they would be, that foundation would be managing the endowment.
So the steering committee would be an ongoing.
Correct. Yeah, but it would have to be ongoing. Yeah. Yeah. So steering committee probably seems misleading, but you would have to kind of set up a board, basically. Yeah.
Okay, with represent.
Yeah.
As you said you would want to send that out to us.
Yeah, I'll send out.
But
Yeah.
it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Like anything else, right? Work through it, see if it becomes a doable thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good opportunity. I've compiled some other resources too. So if you want to take a look at places that, I mean, the county has an endowment through the Pittsburgh Foundation, so they have some education out there as well. Berks County has a lot of foundations. They put a lot of education material out there. So I can send those resources. I've already sent the actual posting for this grant application, but I'll send the questions as well so that you all can take a look at it and then we can decide what exactly we want moving forward.
Okay, all right. We already did the action of new business, in which case, is there any other new business? Moving on to upcoming events and positives. Impacts. I don't know very much about physically. Third Thursdays look like they're starting. That's the first. That's the first one, correct?
Yeah.
17th. So those are fun. Local government.
Pennsylvania does have a designated local government week, so we will be sharing some information. There was a little teaser that went out in the newsletter this week too, just sharing some more information about what local government does, how folks can get involved on an ongoing basis, and what our specific local government does.
Just one day, food trucks, and the first one I'm excited, it's gonna be the lobster truck. Yeah.
Because it's first lobster on the for
So that's gonna be starting May 5th. Actually, I just got the application. I gotta get it to the chief. And because that's not closing any roads, that's just on IRMC, just on Mondays, again, reminder that we can pass that ordinance. That's that, so looking forward to it.
It's all scheduled.
His schedule looks good,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he talked to him you know, because they're right. I told him I was like, no shawarma.
Yeah, but they're
That's
still-
where it is though. Yeah, it's right in the parking spot. across from the place.
Yeah, 'cause they went from.
Yeah, I told him like, no shawarma trucks, then it'd be good. Do that. That's-
Yeah, but it's the end down there.
I love.
Well, learn something new, the moon, go check out the new location. That's a new one.
It's a farm, has the patio. That's the old, but it's still the sandwiches. They would change.
All right, okay, so the offices, I'll get to you, don't worry. The offices are closed for Good Friday, right? And what do you have?
Just an update, as I asked last time around for trivia night. I just wanted to let you all know that we raised $1,955. From the trivia night, and I just wanted to thank everybody who looked at it, whether they donated the prize, came out of the game, or just spread the word.
Well, thank you for all the work you put into it. Good. One other thing that I had for things happening around is, there's gonna be Easter egg hunts all over the place. So I, would just encourage folks that if you got kids, grandkids, I mean, my goodness, there's gonna be 20 of them probably, right? And so, yeah, I think that's cool. I always like that time of the year. My kids like it, they freak out. It's funny, no. What's up?
It's a lot.
Oh my God. Painful amounts of candy, but it's fun. It's a good time of the year. And I don't know, I don't do the fish fries personally, but there's probably plenty of fish fries around to enjoy. And, yeah. So anyone else have upcoming or positive community impact?
Positive community impact. You enjoy baseball? Go watch Indiana High School's baseball team. They are currently undefeated. They are ranked #1 in the WPIL. And they're in the ranked state, so I would definitely, if you enjoy baseball, once the weather breaks, hopefully that will be tomorrow at 4 o'clock. You can go watch a really good baseball team.
On the note of baseball, it's also.
Yes.
And if you want to be involved with the chaos and mayhem that is the ball field, it's a good environment. It's fun down there.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is. Go get a snow cone, it's icy pops, everything's big ice.
Yeah, everything. One.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, so. They changed today's game, yesterday.
I think a lot of folks also hosting an Easter.
Yeah,
What
they,
is- I'm sorry?
they have,
Library.
Okay.
they have an adult, yeah, Easter egg hunt this weekend, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah.
You like to look Kahlua. Halloween, they have like temples for Youngstown, winery.
Fundraiser are the one in Halloween.
When is the adults? This coming Friday. All right, well, if any of the adults.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I forgot. Yeah, for a used one, right? Yeah, yes, that's right, because it's. Sidebar. Donated, they were, I'd asked them how to donate, that's what they told me, so that's cool, yeah, so check that out. Okay, any other positive community impact? Or upcoming event? Cole liked all the garbage cans all lined up for it.
I think the street I rode down this morning, they had them all tipped over and rolled into the road.
In the road. You think that up or not, right? 15 minutes longer. Okay. In which case, we don't need an executive session and then.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, wow. There you have it.